I'd like to introduce our last presenter of the day, my friend Julian Lara from Lara Farms, another one of our incredible mango experts who at Lara Farms, and he is going to be talking today about grafting. All right, so if everybody could give it for Julian Lara.
Thank you. Wow, I'm so happy to be here. Wish it was 10 degrees cooler outside because I feel like I'm cooked, well done, after spending all morning out there. But it's okay, we can handle it. So yeah, so let's say you travel to Jamaica or you travel to some far away place and you come across a tree that produces this incredible mango that you've never had before and you've fallen in love with and you wish you have it in your house. I wish I had this mango in my house. How do I make a copy of this mango and bring it back home and I can have that tree in my backyard from this faraway place, this place I'm at? I'm in the Bahamas and I want to bring this mango back. Well, what you got to do is graft it. And grafting is just, another way of cloning a tree, a specific tree. Because every time you plant a seed, you get something new. So basically, grafting mangoes, what you do is when you find the tree that produces the mango that you want, it could be a Julie mango, it could be a Valencia Pride, it can be an orange sherbet, or it can be something that has no name, and you discovered it. So what you got to do is get the tips, the ends of the branches that we call budwood. It's also known as scion wood. And here it is right here, just like in the picture. So this is what the budwood looks like. Okay, you remove all the leaves. Okay? And then you plant a seed, and when the seedling gets about this tall, that's when it's ready to graft. Okay? So you can, let me see. You can decapitate it. You decapitate it, and then you cut it, well, that's cutting the budwood, and then you decapitate the rootstock right around here. Maybe I would do it up here where it's nice and green. Because once it's brown down here, that means the cells are a little bit older. And just like when you break a bone and you're young, you heal fast. But when you're older, it's a little bit more complicated to heal a broken bone. So the same technique, the same philosophy goes with grafting. So you choose something where there's green. I mean, personally, I like to graft it way up here. But you shouldn't wait until your seedling is this tall. Maybe when it's this tall and it's this color down here, a little bit lower, then you can graft it, where it's a little bit flexible, but not too flexible. Okay? There's a lot of young cells growing in here, and it wants to push new growth. So that's where you want to graft at, okay? So you basically take one of these things, not this long, probably about up to here. I'll do a demonstration. You put it up there. Some people, when they have a mature tree in the ground, and there's branches all over the place, they graft on each tip, on every branch. I have a friend who has like 80 mangoes on one tree, which is amazing. And what he does is he gets the budwood, maybe a little bit thinner than this, just to match it up, and he grafts it right here. And then before he grafts it, he wraps it up with a parafilm tape that we call buddy tape. Now, if you can find buddy tape online, I really recommend you buy it because it will turn anybody into a professional grafter. You just get the parafilm buddy tape and you wrap this up like a mummy. All the way up to the top, you cover everything, okay? And then you do your graft. And then you use the buddy tape to cover and hold the graft union as well, okay? So let me see what I can get here. So we can get to, see, that's the graft union. And that's the buddy tape holding the graft union right there. Okay, you wrap it up really tight. And that's the grafting knife that I like to use. There's a website that sells it. It's called amleo.com. As for you guys who are familiar with like farming catalogs, it's called A.M. Leonard, but the website is amleo.com. And you just go on the search bar and you type in grafting knives, and you'll see one that looks just like that, which is my favorite model. And the brand is called Tina, T-I-N-A. It's a German-made grafting knife, and they last a long time. And you have to learn how to sharpen these knives. You got to buy the rock sharpener, and you have to buy the leather throp, what the barbers use to sharpen their razor blades when they shave you. So you got to do the rock, and you got to do this until it can shave the hair off your arm. That's what you want. So getting to this picture, let me explain this picture. Because every time you plant a seed in the ground, okay, you get a new thing. Let's say you get a Hayden seedling, you plant the seed, and after waiting for 10 years, because it takes as long as a human to reach sexual maturity, a mango seed, or an avocado seed, or a caimito, star apple seed. It takes a long time. It takes as long as we do. So we have to plant the mango seed, wait 8 to 12 years, and at the end of the 8 or 12 years, we try the mango, we evaluate it, and we decide if it's good or bad, if it's a doctor or a delinquent. And we aspire to grow doctors. We only want the best of the best. So you plant the Hayden seedling, and you get a Valencia Pride, or you get a Kent mango, and those are doctors. So what you want to do is plant a whole farm full of doctors. And when you get a bad mango, which is the delinquent, just get rid of it. Gary Zill, who in my opinion is the mango guru, he planted 10,000 seeds in a 5-acre farm. He squished them all together. And he's just looking for doctors. And he hybridized naturally and manually 10,000 seedlings. And what he would do is when the seed would sprout, and it was like a little tiny little plant like this big with like 4 leaves on it, he would grab the leaf, break it off, and smell this tip of the leaf. You just go. Doesn't smell special. Well, get rid of that tree. And the one he would smell, be like, whoa, that smells like pineapple. Oh, this one smells like orange. This one smells like coconut. And he'll save it, put it in the ground, give it a name, 015, 016, the rows from A to Z, and the number of the tree is 12 or whatever it is. So, keep a record. And then wait 10 years to see if that coconut smell gives a fruit that's worth it, that's a doctor. So he did that with 10,000 trees. How many mangoes did he pick out of the 10,000? 30. That's it. It's a lot of work for 30 mangoes. But it's these mangoes that we're going crazy over, pineapple pleasure, orange sherbet, orange essence, Gary mango, coconut cream, pina colada. These are all lemon zest. These are all from his mango breeding program, which is just planting seeds and smelling leaves and deciding which ones to keep and which not. So he planted 10,000 of potential doctors. And out of those 10,000, only 30. And those are the ones you want to graft. Okay? Now, one way of grafting, one technique of grafting is called cleft. Cleft grafting is basically, looks like this. okay? When you graft, when you decapitate it to insert the cleft, you're gonna see the bark, and you're gonna see the hardwood or the heartwood, and you're gonna see the cambium. The cambium is the green underneath the bark. And that's what you want to expose to the budwood. So you cut down the middle, and then you get the cleft, and you want that to align with the cambium of the budwood and the cambium of the rootstock. It's very important. Green on green. Here is an example of how a cleft looks. The cambium is right next to the bark, so you have contact on both sides, green on green. Here's another example of how a cleft looks like. And what I was telling you guys is wrap the whole thing up with buddy tape, all the way up and all the way down. This is just probably, a lot of people used to use rubber bands back in the day. And but for mangoes, I think buddy tape is one of the best tools that's come out, and it makes life a lot easier. Now, it usually takes about 4 to 6 weeks for grafts to look like that. Sometimes in 20 days, it can look like that. And here you can see the parafilm holding the graft union together. And what I would do, I would cover the whole budwood with the parafilm buddy tape all the way up, okay? And what that does is creates little water bubbles, little water droplets underneath, so little that you can't see. And what that does, it keeps the budwood alive. It helps it drink water through that moisture underneath the parafilm until it fuses together, until that cleft fuses together with the rootstock and becomes one. And then it starts taking water from the root system instead of the moisture created by the buddy tape. This is what buddy tape looks like, and that's the packaging. So if you ever look it up online, you can recognize it. Here are some more examples of cleft grafting. It's a very easy and fast way to graft. I can probably do about 100 grafts in a 6-hour day. Now, this budwood was covered all the way up to the top, and it busted right through. It will bust right through the buddy tape with no problem at all. And it makes a little crown on top of new leaves. Now, another technique, another grafting technique is called veneer. And now veneer grafting, you don't really need buddy tape. You can just use regular plastic grafting tape. Because I call it kind of a caveman method of grafting, because it's one of the old ways of doing it. And it's basically a side graft. And when you do a side graft, you have more cambium on cambium contact because it's like this. It's not like this, it's like this. So there's more contact. There's more cambium contact. So when there's more cambium contact, there's more chances of success. And then you wrap it up with the plastic grafting tape, nice and tight, with cambium on cambium, so they can touch and hold and fuse together. Okay? Here are some more pictures of a side graft and side veneer graft being wrapped. And you can see that the rootstock is cut just like the budwood is cut on the side. And then it's being matched cambium on cambium. Here's another example. You can see the hardwood in the middle that's white, and then the cambium right underneath the bark. And there you see the budwood with the same thing, with its version of the hardwood. and it's cambium, and then you got to match that up the best you can. If it only matches up on one side, it's okay. If you match it up on both sides, even better. But if it matches up just on one side, it could still take no problem. So don't worry if it doesn't match on both sides. Now, this is another technique of grafting that is called approach grafting, which is something that I would say is a way to cheat. Okay, grafting. This is like cheating, which kind of looks like this. You know, you take a tree. Let me see. You take a tree and that's in a pot. Your rootstock is in a pot, and you tie it up to a branch, and then you graft it, as you see in the illustration, and you wrap it up. And then you wait for that to to heal and to fuse together while the scion is still attached to the mother tree. So you haven't cut the budwood off. The budwood is still on the tree. You're just approaching the budwood, the rootstock to the tree and grafting it while the budwood is still on the tree so that there's no way the budwood will die. The budwood will not die because it's still part of the mother tree. And after like a month or so, after 6 weeks, you unwrap it and you see the calluses and the graft union taking place. And once it's well and established, then you cut the budwood and you bring down the rootstock wrapped up to the tree, to the floor, and then you have a grafted tree with 100% success. There's no way that can die because it's still on the tree. Okay, another technique that people do when you have a poor root system, when you have a tree that's struggling, it doesn't want to grow. What a lot of people do is they plant rootstocks around the base of the tree, like in this photo, and then they graft it onto the trunk just to create more root systems. So right here, they planted two mango trees with its own root system and grafted it on the trunk so that it can have more roots and more strength and more power, more vitality to grow. So that is something used not just for mangoes, but for anything under the sun that you want it to grow faster and get more established. But that is like, last case scenario. All right, so I'm going to do an example here of how to graft or how to cut the budwood. I'm going to go over here in the middle and put the mic down. It's not a German knife. It looks like a Swiss. All right.
I know last time you needed buddy tape. Oh, my sharp.
All right. That's going to take forever. So anyway, I can do it. All right, so when I cut, I always have total control of the knife, okay? I put my thumb right here, and I always cut going this way. I'm always sawing one side like that. I don't go straight down. I saw. So I go here, right? And you see me sawing, you see me sawing, you see me sawing. That's just one side. Now let's do the other side. Go here, measure, same place, start, sawing, I'm sawing, and boom. And then I see here, okay, this one is a little bit longer than this one. So let me adjust it, a little adjustment here. and boom. This is a cleft. I'm going to do it again over here. Okay, so start all over. And do a cut. I'm sawing. Smooth. One movement. Remove these obstacles here from the leaf, like that. Boom. Perfect. That's so cool. Thank you. All right, I'm going to do it again over here for you guys. Like that. Like that. And here you go. I have my thumb here. I got my thumb here just to have control. And then this guy goes in. I'm sawing, and got the cut. Go on the other side. Going here. I'm sawing away. Boom. Look at that. Perfect on the first time. Yeah, I'm cutting towards myself. You got to practice. I've cut myself plenty of times. Hey, buddy. All right, we're going to do it again here, guys. And this is the size of a budwood you can use. It doesn't have to be that long piece. This is a perfect size, about 4 inches, 5 inches. All right, I'm going to do it again. And this is the way my dad taught me. I'm pretty sure there's other ways of doing it. Some people like to go like this, but there's no way to control that. Going like this, away from you, there's no control. So again, put your thumb here, like that, and then you saw. You saw. And then you measure, get the exact same position, go over here, and you saw away, and boom, look at that. Beautiful. And then you take your rootstock, cut it down here, you cut it here in the middle, all the way down, and you take this, and you insert it. Like that. Get your buddy tape. And you wrap it all the way up to the top. And then they'll shoot out over here.
From only the top?
From the top, yeah.
Because I'm like, there's little buds.
If it doesn't have buds on the top, they'll shoot out from the sides.
But you said when you cut the leaves off, it'll kind of have these little nodes on it, correct? And that's where it grows
Yeah,
from?
if it grows from everywhere, that's even better.
Right.
Sometimes it grows from multiple places. Sometimes it grows from just one. It all depends on the movement of the bud. So, yeah, like I said before, you cut it down in the middle,
I'm a horticulturalist. I'm actually voice recording.
and then you stick it down, and you wrap it all the way up to the top.
I'm like, old school lesson.
And then for a side veneer will look like this. Okay.
Stand here like this.
All right. So we're doing the whole side completely like that. And yes, I go all the way up. Say, Julian, you just cut the tongue on top of there. But no, it has buds everywhere. So let's do this part here so it can hold onto the rootstock. Sorry.
It's a gift. It's your gift for coming.
And this way I do cut away from myself, and I got a perfect ramp. On veneers, I do cut away. I don't cut towards myself. This way, for some reason, I just do the saw motion, and it comes out perfect every time, just effortlessly. I'll do it again.
You'll do it again. Oh, here.
All right, come back.
Follow him. Here. Take that one.
All right, let me move over here. All right, so I'm going to remove these leaves. And Here you can actually make 2 pieces of budwood. There's enough here for 2 pieces. You can have your primary. This is the terminal bud, and this is a secondary bud. And it can shoot off from here, from every place there was a leaf. You can make a new plant. So the secondary will be first. So we'll do a little cleanup here, just for cosmetics, just for aesthetic. And then you do your cut. Okay? I always put my finger here to control the movement of the knife. I mean, that's how I do it. You see? Saw motion. Perfect. You can see the cambium. You can see the hardwood. And then here comes the ramp. A little bit more. Whoops. Almost slipped. Okay, perfect ramp. So what I would do here is I will cut, find the cambium layer, stick this boy in here. It's okay. Wrap it up with some plastic tape, grafting tape, all the way, the whole thing covered so it can create moisture. That way it can drink water. Meanwhile, it's healing with this. Okay? And you want to wrap it up really tight because you want that contact. Okay?
You want to worry about disease or mold.
Oh, yeah, you got to wash your hands. That's another thing I was going to tell you guys. You got to wash your hands and wash your knife. Sterilize. I mean, like a mentality of a doctor. It's like surgery. You got to sterilize your hands, use alcohol in your knife in between grafts. Very important, and that really makes a difference. All right, I'm going to do another example over here. Yeah, it was a long piece. This is the primary, and that was the secondary, and they're both good. Right. You can do 2 different grafts. So if you get a long piece, that's enough to make 2 trees. Maybe 3. All right, so here it goes. The veneer. And this is the beginner's version of grafting is veneer. Cleft is like advanced, and then after cleft is budding. And budding is really like, I'll do a demonstration of budding. But first, let me finish this veneer right here. So here, boom, beautiful cambium layer exposure. That's it. Okay, and I'm going to do the ramp, what I call the ramp. Oh, I got a cramp in my hand. Man, I'm so dehydrated. Yeah, okay, so here goes the ramp, and I go in a saw motion when I do this. Whoops. Oh. Oh, here we go. Okay. If you have any fluff, like a little feather at the end, just get this, get it out. And you cut here, boom, cut the flap off and leave like a little flap. So when you go like this, it's covering this too. So it gets a cambium here and from here. Yeah. You wrap this up nice and tight. And then you'll see swelling up here. And when you see the swelling, you may want to unwrap it if you're using regular plastic tape. If you're using parafilm buddy tape, you don't have to do anything. It'll break right through it. Okay? So I'm done with this one. So what I'm going to do is show a quick demonstration of a budding, a graft bud, which is like microsurgery. And this is an exclusive because this is like a trade secret. A lot of people don't like sharing this. All right, so let's pretend this is the rootstock, okay? And I'm gonna select the bud from this scion, right? So what's the bud? each one of these leaves have a bud, which will turn into a branch and eventually a tree when you graft it. So each leaf represents a tree. So I don't need the whole leaf, so I'm just going to cut this leaf off and leave this little node, okay? Then I'm going to remove the bud, okay? That's it. This is a bud. This could be an orange sherbet. And you just graft it on your rootstock, and the bud that's on top of the leaf will turn into a branch and turn into a tree. Isn't that crazy? That's what a graft is. Every little bud that comes from the top is this, but this is on the side. You can get it from the top too. You can select one of these, but it's more complicated. So let's pretend this is the rootstock, and what you got to do is somehow graft it right in here, okay? So this is what I'm going to do. Okay, hold on a second. So I'm going to do a little cut like this, right? I need my glasses. And like a little straight line. So what I'm doing is a letter T. I'm doing a letter T. Okay? So on the top of the T, I'm going to lift up the flap. And I'm sorry, I can't really see really good. I don't have my glasses. But what you want to do is lift up the cambium layer. Oh, I think I'm doing it. I think I did it on one side. Oh, I did it. It doesn't want to come up. So yeah, what I'm doing is trying to lift up the cambium layer. And I think I did it enough. So I'm going to grab this, okay, and I'm going to try to make it go inside, slip inside, but it's too dry. I'm going to try a little bit higher where there could be more sap flow. Let me see over here. Okay, there's my letter T. And this little thing on top of here, this little rhino head, little rhino nose, that's a tool for doing this. So what you do, you flip the knife upside down, and you go in here, you find the T. You can't even see. And you find it, and you try to open it, the cambium with this thing. Oh. See, I almost think I broke it. Somewhat open. So you try to insert this underneath the cambium. Okay? All the way in. And then you wrap that with buddy tape. You get rid of this leaf part. Oops, wrong side. You insert this as best as you can, like that, and then you wrap it up. And then wait until this bud to push into a tree. And that's it. And when it's about this big, get rid of that. Right? Because you just want all the growth to focus on this one bud. So this is really used when you have a limited source of budwood. You know? So here, for example, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 grafts. You know, like here's a bud. Here's another bud. Here's another bud. And here's another bud. But trust me, don't even bother doing this. This is really like surgery, and you really have to have clean instruments. Cleft and veneer grafting are the easiest way to graft, and a lot of people do it with no problem, with no situation. This method, if done correctly, 90%. The whole thing gets covered, and then the bud breaks through the buddy tape. effortlessly. Okay, any more questions? Yes.
Here, hold on.
Hold on. She's coming for you. Be careful.
I was just wondering, when you brought over the caimito, what type of graft did you use that you had?
Cleft.
Cleft, okay.
Yeah, I cleft it, and I left a couple of leaves on it, because I didn't use buddy tape all the way. I didn't wrap it up like a mummy. I left a couple of leaves, and I put a plastic bag over the whole tree and sealed it with a rubber band. And I put some wire, made like a U with a wire, put there so the plastic wouldn't fall on top of the tree, just to hold up the plastic. All right, go ahead.
What's the best time of year, like, for the tree to receive the graft?
Any time that is hot. Just as long as it's hot. It doesn't have to be the spring. The spring, on some things that are dormant and then they're going to start pushing for the first time, that's a good time to graft. But for mango, it's never dormant. So as long as it's hot, you can graft it.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Hey, Julian, thank you for this presentation and demonstration. It's very
Thank you.
insightful.
You're welcome.
I had a question about, let's say you're living on the east side of 95. We know we're getting hit by hurricanes.
East side of I-95?
Right.
That's the honey zone.
That's the honey zone?
That's the honey zone. You know why?
Why?
Less humidity. Believe it or not, it's hot outside. But
Yeah.
if you go to where I live, in the Redlands, where it's like 15 miles from here west, it's more humid and more hot. And it's the worst for grafting.
Okay.
Over here is drier and less heat, believe it or not. And it's better for grafting.
And
So anything east of 95 or the Palmetto, that's the honey zone for as far as growing fruit too, because there's less spores and fungus, less insects. Because where I'm at, they want to procreate like crazy. It's the perfect environment.
Yeah.
Over here is a little bit less favorable.
oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And my question would be like, what is the best rootstock you should use?
For mangoes.
Because it's getting battered by hurricanes.
Okay. Now, for mango rootstock, to tell you the truth,
Okay. Here a second.
any rootstock is good. Any rootstock. As long as it's healthy, and growing and vigorous, any rootstock is good. Now, I'm walking over here to get some water. Now, the reason why you hear turpentine so much, turpentine, I want turpentine rootstock, is because turpentine is a polyembryonic seed, which means, in other words, one seed has 5 trees in it. You plant the seed and you have 5 sprouts, and you separate them, and you got 5 trees. Now, as a businessman, a nursery man that's a businessman, that's good. That's good value for your money. You can buy a box of turpentine and maybe have 200 or 300 mangoes in that 50-pound box. Now, why are you going to buy a box of Tommy Atkins for $35, which is what a box of turpentine costs, when you can only have 10 or 15 mangoes? You know, smart man goes for the turpentine. Now, if you're like me, when you have mangoes coming out of your ears, you'll be like, oh, whatever mango. Whatever mango works. Any mango works, as long as it's healthy. Now, but if you want to make a large production of of grafting trees, you get the turpentine and get as much rootstock as possible. You want a lot of rootstock. If you're a businessman, you want a lot of rootstock. And you'll get that with turpentine.
I have a question, 2 questions. First, if we were to have a rootstock, like we took a seed of let's say a Valencia Pride, and made that a rootstock, and then we grafted on a scion of a Valencia Pride to that, would that make a better Valencia Pride?
No.
Okay.
No, genes is genes. The budwood of that Valencia Pride is always going to be the same DNA, no matter how many times you graft it and no matter what you graft it on. Now, Gary Zill, the guy who planted 10,000 mango seeds in a 5-acre lot, he found a rootstock that makes your Valencia Pride dwarf. The tree, it makes the tree dwarf. But it doesn't change the mango. It's always going to be the same mango. But this rootstock is dwarfing the Valencia Pride, which is definitely not a dwarf. It's a large, vigorous tree. So, yeah, it's called piva, P-I-V-A, piva rootstock. Yeah, Valencia Pride is a vigorous tree. Yes, go ahead.
Is it recommended to fertilize your mango tree?
No, not unless it's sad or yellow or ugly or doesn't grow. Mangoes are very efficient at finding nutrition on its own, believe it or not, especially nitrogen. Now, if you insist on fertilizing mango, the best one out there is called 0022, 0022. 0% nitrogen, 0% phosphorus, 22% potassium, and the rest are trace elements, manganese, magnesium. There's another one called K-Mag, potassium, magnesium, or manganese, I mean. And that is applied, it's a granular, and that one is applied 1 tablespoon per every foot of height the tree has. So if the tree's 8 feet tall, it's 8 tablespoons around the root area. And you do that every season. And what does that mean? There's 4 seasons in the year, so it's 4 times a year.
Julian, I have a tree and it's got like trunk about this thick. And if I was to graft on it, what would you
Talk
suggest?
closer to the mic.
What would you suggest if my current trunk is like about this thick? And do I wait for new shoots to form on that and then graft it?
Yes.
Or just slap it on it?
How thick is the trunk?
It's about this thick.
That's too thick for a graft. Yeah, you cut it down to a stump and wait for the new suckers. And on those new suckers, you do the graft. Because those new suckers are young. You have a lot of young cells.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Can we do multi-graft?
Wait, sorry. I'm sorry, hold on. Sorry, talking to the mic. Oh.
Well, I ask,
Closer.
can we do multi-graft on one tree, like 1, 2, 3, 4 graft, different graft?
Yeah. I said earlier, I have a friend with 80 different mangoes on one tree.
Talk closer.
Oh, then you know already.
That's why I let them know that I just put up a question so they also know that we can have multiple grafts.
Absolutely. But then you have to manage it even more because one can outgrow another variety because one could be dwarf and one could be vigorous, and then it'll cover up the dwarf and they'll never flower.
Can you air layer mangoes?
Yes, you can air layer mangoes. All fruit trees are air layerable. But the problem is air layers don't have tap roots. So what does that mean? It doesn't have a tap root. Any little category 1 tropical storm will uproot it. When you graft it, the seed has a taproot. So it's harder, it's more difficult for a little hurricane to uproot it and knock it down. But yes, you can air layer pretty much anything.
So when you air layer, you're saying that it'll always be a weak tree?
Weak root system.
Okay.
I've had, my dad back in the 80s and 90s air layered a Valencia Pride, and it grew up to be like a 20, 25-foot tree. Beautiful and full of fruit. Got a little hurricane, like a little tropical storm come through, knocked it down and uprooted it. And that was the end of that.
Going back to that cleft graft,
Yeah.
when you do that on the rootstock, do you leave, when you cut the top of the rootstock to
do the cleft.
Do you have to have leaves on the rootstock? Because if the budwood had no leaves?
Yeah, I would leave. Okay, when you do the cleft and the rootstock has leaves underneath where you're grafting at, do you take them off? No, I would leave them on. Because if you take them off, it's going to start shooting branches. It's going to start making branches underneath the graft and taking away, energy to the graft. So it's better to leave on the leaves, and that way also the tree can continue to function because it has somewhere to take water to. Because you just decapitated the tree, And where's the water going to go? There's no leaves. So if you take off all the leaves, where's the water going to go? So the trees, the sap flow is going to get disrupted. It's not going to move. So if there's leaves underneath the graft, there's a place for the roots to take water to.
Thank you for your presentation.
Thank you.
I have a large mango tree, and I have a bunch of little seedlings. How do I go about choosing from the large tree what size diameter and how far up the tree, you know, with the leaves?
You want to graft on the large tree?
Yeah, I want to graft from the large tree to some of the seedlings.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know what size, what's the right diameter to choose?
Well, the rootstock, you have them what, in containers?
No, they're actually in the ground.
They're in the ground?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Well, just do a cleft. Do a cleft graft.
But where do you choose on the large mango?
On
Like how far
on
up
the
the
seedling. On the seedling.
No, the actual.
Where do you choose from the large mango to graft onto the seedling?
Exactly.
Okay. You got to choose up here on these buds that are just about to make new branches, that are swollen and pushing.
Green?
Green, not brown. Swollen and pushing, not leafing. Once it makes leaves, once it's pushed out, it's too late. You got to do it before it pushes, when it's swollen and pushing, not pushed.
Thank you.
All right, everybody, give it up for Julian Lara.